Welcome to I'm Your Target Demographic, and today we're looking at the topic of virtual reality. We're going to look at what it is, how it works, and some interesting ways it's becoming relevant. So let's start with some history. While we think of virtual reality as a fairly modern concept, it's been written about in science fiction since the 1930s. In the 1960s, we finally started to see gadgets like the Sensorama, which also included sounds and smells. We started to then see things like the Viewmaster get created, which were goggles that would show a picture and would build the foundation for virtual reality headsets that we see now. In a nutshell, virtual reality is really a blanket term for anything that seemingly replaces the reality you're in, created digitally. Here's how it usually works. Most of it is sight-driven, a way to confuse our minds into what we're seeing. So a headset or goggles are created which cover all sight and replace with something else. In most cases, there are actually two images, one over each eye. And when we're looking at these images both at once, we get a sense of 3 dimensions. There are also built-in gyroscopes that can sense when the goggles move. So if you look down, the screen looks down, making you believe that you're actually in that setting. Fully immersive sound can also be used to make you think you're in another place. For you to interact with this world, there are many techniques being worked on, some including gloves that can sense where your hands are, or things like video game controllers. Like I said, virtual reality has been talked about for a while, so it's not surprising that virtual reality has already been made for the masses and it was relatively unsuccessful. Video game companies like Sega and Nintendo have both created virtual reality headsets. The Virtual Boy by Nintendo was discontinued after less than a year of production, and it's the company's second lowest selling platform ever. So in current day, let's look at what options are starting to become popular. The first big one is the Oculus Rift, which began as a Kickstarter campaign collecting $10 million. However, it was then purchased outright by Facebook for $2 billion. It was this sale that really brought virtual reality to the forefront and affirmed to the masses that virtual reality might be actually ready for public consumption.
I think that's why this is so exciting. Every 10 or 15 years, there is a new major platform that comes along. I do think virtual reality is going to be that with augmented reality. And the Oculus team are just the best folks that are years ahead of everyone else in terms of building this. And it's really exciting and an honor to work with them on this.
Soon after, Sony revealed PlayStation VR, a headset to be sold alongside their PS4, which would allow for virtual reality gaming right in someone's home. While the Oculus Rift and PlayStation VR both seem superficially similar, the Oculus won't likely bring in huge gaming opportunities, but it will instead likely focus on more real-world applications that PSVR won't likely prioritize. There are, of course, other companies working on virtual reality efforts such as the HTC Vive and the Samsung Gear VR. Now, one of the biggest leaps in competitive gaming was the inclusion of virtual reality spectating into the game Dota 2. In which players can put themselves onto the battlefield, not to play, but to merely spectate and watch the events unfold. Across the world, entertainment venues like Disneyland and Six Flags are even starting to use virtual reality, including the Superman ride, in which everyone on the ride wears their own headset. You feel like you're in a helicopter when an attack from Lex Luthor makes gravity go crazy and Superman must rescue you, with every tilt of the roller coaster feeling like you're actually falling or flying through the sky. Now, most folks, especially my audience watching this video, likely see gaming and entertainment as the main use for virtual reality, but there are many other opportunities. For example, militaries across the world have begun using virtual reality for training and simulations, including for their combat medics. Driving schools have begun using virtual reality to help prepare students for actual in-the-car lessons. Medical students can use virtual reality to study anatomy and practice procedures on a completely imaginary patient. Some doctors are even using virtual reality to address phobias that people might have, such as flying in an airplane or fear of heights. These individuals can confront their fears in a safe and controlled space, often resulting in dramatic positive progress in real life.
Dr. Rizzo credits the gaming industry for bringing the development of this new technology into kind of everyday use in some cases. He says now that it's more readily available, he expects the use of virtual reality technology in medicine to really take off. And when you see that report, I think you understand why. It can help a lot of people.
What if you have a fear of virtual reality helmets?
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
In terms of cost, there is a huge spread. Something simple like what's called Google Cardboard, a headset used with your phone, is only about $15 US when purchased from Google itself. On the more expensive side, the Oculus Rift and PSVR range from about $400 to $600 in US dollars. So hopefully this helped you understand how virtual reality works and what it's being used for. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.